a fresh, and I say a weekend show, I say a skeleton, I say it's a atmo. This is not a flop show, a weekend show. Big up weekend show, my princess there from America. Big her up. Bam, weekend show.
Welcome to the weekend show. You know it's your host, Marley B. So you are going now. Right now, I get right into it. You know, election in America is just a couple of days away. And you know, right now, this is the biggest election in a long time. We think the first one with Trump is the biggest one, but that one seems like the biggest one because we already know what Trump is about. We get 4 years of him, so we know what to expect. Biden, we get 8 years of him, so we know about him too. So we know say a two different character when you really look on the two man, them and listen to the two man, them are two different character. But I want to say the 8 years of Biden and Obama, it was relatively peaceful in America. You know, really, you have all the shooting, mass shooting and them things, which are regular that. Americans, people then go crazy and them have all these guns and bullets and them just go kill people when they get stressed. You understand? So, we know about that. But in terms of mass protests and you see people that march with a gun and them little thing there and certain things, so that never they are going. But right now, you see, a whole heap of different things are going. Enough people never think they could have gone because here we are going now. You see the thing with Trump now, everybody knows that Trump did stay and stay. They know say they need to get Trump. But they still give him because they know what Trump stand for. And they appeal to the little racist part of Trump. But Trump smart and know to cover it up and buy you out and make it up on him side. Say him skill at that. Right? So you find say the American people who run the government and all of them Senate and Berry and bag of people in the house and all of them government structure there. Them they believe say the structure of American politics and the way the country is governed with the checks and balances was able to stop Trump from doing certain things. But so far, them finally realize that nothing what they have can really stop Trump from doing what he want to do. And Trump seems like he want to do more, but to all Trump have them now, it make it seem as if him and a savior in a sense, because the way our America built, we know it built on racism. And Trump now make it seem as if when you follow me, we're going to lose it all and equality are going to take over and everybody are going get justice and say and a sort of thing go because our people have to run the thing. So with me, we're going to keep ourselves in a control of the whole thing. But if Biden win, he might go concede certain things and really now the electioneering is so smart that they target the blacks where them still use the separation. So you find say in a Trump message, even though Trump seem racist in lingua, most American male already deal with racism, so they know about racism already. So they more feel as though say Trump, a racist president like Trump, I can't do much anyway. So the male will buy into him latest message because of the immigration and then feel say immigrants are take with them job and them things. So with the latest rhetoric of Trump, the man them will buy into it, but the woman them not go buy into it. So easy. But some women are buying into it and some man not go buy into Trump still same way. But you're gonna find say in black male vote are gonna increase whether you don't like it or not. Cause you see it happen already. Cause remember Ice Cube him say F the police and now him endorse Trump in a sense. See that after the latest debate, now 50 Cent endorse Trump. So that will show you the shift in the thinking of people because of what the analysts are doing and or them know of the target demographics and these things. Anyway, but we want to talk about is also you have the right wing where rise and you have some Ku Klux Klan where have some deep-rooted ideology about black people were not right and them things say are so, but are not really so, but more time them talk out them views and make you know them a thing. So here, I have a video for run, I'm going to hear that one Ku Klux man that think about black people. So check out that one, check out that video, and I'll come back to it.
People are joining, but now with all the racial tension in America, people are joining left and right, so I think it's a good thing. When these people were rioting and causing all these riots for a black guy named George Floyd, who was a career criminal, the man was just let out of prison for armed robbery. He broke into a woman's house, a pregnant woman, and put a gun to her stomach and made her give over all her cash and credit cards. He pulled 5 years in prison, gets out, goes in a store trying to pass counterfeit money off, counterfeit bills trying to buy more alcohol and cigarettes, and gets killed by the police. I feel no sympathy for him. The man's a criminal. And I think these riots are helping the Klan grow. There's more people out looking for us now. It used to be we had to go out and recruit members. Now we just sit back and they come to us.
What do you think about the state of our country? Do you think things are getting worse?
I think it's a racial powder keg about to explode, and we're actually hoping for it. Most of the people in the Klan want it to. We want the racial tension. We want a race war, a full-out race war.
And racism is a big issue in the United States.
Well, racism's always going to be a big issue anywhere. You can't have 2 different races or 3 races. You can't have this many people living on one continent with this many different religions, this many different cultures without one trying to step on the other. I mean, that's just common sense.
But you could argue that the Klan is contributing to the problem, no?
No, the Klan ain't contributing to the problem. You can just sit back and let the blacks do their own job. I mean, let them keep killing each other in record numbers. The Klan ain't got to go out and kill blacks no more. We just drop off some liquor in their town and some guns, and they do it themselves. If it was my option every weekend, I would go up to Chicago with a big truck full of whiskey and crack, marijuana, and a ton of guns and bullets and tell them have at it and just drop it off right in the middle of town. And then go home and watch my Monday morning news and laugh the whole time.
What's the most important thing you've learned in your life?
To never turn my back on God. He'll always be there for me. And like I said, the Klan's a religious movement. When I was younger, I really wasn't into religion, and I see there's a whole new generation coming up that are basically atheists. And I feel sorry for them, so I try to reach out to people about the Bible and the goodness of the Bible. And, you know, God's there for everybody.
Alright, let me check out that video there. Alright, now, I want to realize that the election are kind of different from most elections, and something happened in America where most people are aware of, but them kind of aware of it, but sometimes the people them see things, but people kind of not deal with reality nowadays, so even reality in their face them and deny it. So I'm going to just read this phone up, alright, and this article is by the Conversation article, published on August 27, 2020, right? And the headline is why Americans are buying more guns than ever. Alright, hear the headline there. So let me go right into it and start read the article for you now, so you can have an idea of what I'm going. Alright. Americans have been on a record gun buying spree in recent months. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the protests for racial justice, the Gun Industries Trade Association, the National Shooting Sports Foundation estimate that gun sales from March through July were 8.5 million. This is 94% higher than the same period in 2019. So you see people are buying gun because they expect things. Now, we don't know why people are think this. There must something go on in the last 4 years make people have to think this. Why this happen now. So here we go and read some more. Firearms industry consultant estimate July sales alone were 2.0 million units, an increase of 136% over July 2019. You hear that, people? So from July 2019 to July 2020, you have a 136% increase. Right? You see that people are a whole heap of percent that, you know. You hear that? Alright. These estimates are based on the number of background checks conducted by the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. The FBI reported that 8 of the weeks in this period are in the top 10 highest weeks since the agency began collecting data since 1998. So you see this a broke record. You see me as a people, this is record breaking, yeah? From 98 to now, you understand? So that's a real shift in things, you know? You understand? I'm gonna get me right, people? Alright, anyway, let's go on. Gun sales typically have seasonal cycles, with more guns being sold in winter months and increases in presidential election years after high-profile mass shootings. However, the 2020 pandemic spurred a record-setting surge in demand for firearms. You hear that, people? So even in the COVID pandemic and people are going dead, or people are going to get sick or whatever, the government has said, well, people still arm up. Gun sales first spiked in March when lockdown orders began in the US. See that? The figures jumped again in June following nationwide protests over the killing of George Floyd. So this seems like this is being set up, people, to all, you notice all it a flow, everything a flow together, and all the escalation are going. Alright. Our research examines American gun culture and offers insights into the complex relationship between Americans and guns. We believe there are 3 general reasons why people are purchasing firearms now. Alright, reason number 1, independence and security. A study we presented in 2019 shows that Americans feel buying a gun is a way of asserting and maintaining independence. Independence is threatened during the pandemic when a concern for public health may curtail some individual freedoms, including the freedom to travel, operate some businesses, assemble in large groups, or visit the elderly. Gun ownership can be motivated by the belief that having guns helps to ensure freedom to do and live as one chooses, particularly for individuals concerned with protection and defense. The National Shooting Sports Foundation estimates that 40% of recent gun buyers are doing so for the first time, partly driven by citizens' perceived need to protect themselves in a period of uncertainty and civil unrest, as well as calls to defund the police. So you see these people, one of this seem like a setup to how the thing escalate. So, you know, I'm going to go on further because this is still reason number 1. The idea is supported by data showing that more than 99% of recent sales are handguns, which are typically used for self-defense, and by research showing that buying a gun for self-defense can be motivated by feeling that the world is generally dangerous. Gun owners also find comfort and security in routines. This means existing gun owners may purchase additional guns in an effort to maintain a sense of normalcy. Alright. Get the most of the conversation every weekend. Sign up for our newsletter. Yeah, that is alright. Anyway, number 2, market signals and forces. Another reason relates to market conditions. Governors choose to include gun retailers as essential businesses, allowing them to remain open during many statewide closures in March and April. This reinforced the legitimacy of guns and gun retailers in the US by strengthening precautions for gun purchases as appropriate and necessary. Meanwhile, gun retailers have struggled to keep firearms, ammunition, and accessories in stock. When customers face scarcity, they may experience a sense of urgency to purchase, and they may be willing to travel further, pay more, or purchase a different item than they had initially sought. So that's number 2 reason. Number 3, social connection and recreation. Finally, guns can provide a tangible basis for a social connection. Social bonding through composition is a well-established phenomenon in customer research. Retailers facilitate that by serving as a social hub and providing expertise on specific products. Visiting a firearms retailer and buying a gun can also enable customers to feel socially connected to like-minded others. According to our research, going to shooting ranges and hunting are low-risk activities in terms of accidental shootings. We speculate that because these activities can be done outdoors while wearing masks and with distance between people, they may also involve lower risk for COVID-19 transmission. Americans who haven't joined the buying frenzy may question the use of guns against a virus or rioters in faraway cities. During a time of crisis, citizens want to feel connected, secure, and independent. For some Americans, buying guns may help them to do so. Help them do so. Alright, people, so you see, those are the three reasons why people are buying guns as they have researched. So, I don't know which one of the category you fit in. Yeah? Whether the first, second, or third. But whichever one you fit in, know your place. Because right now, gun is on the rise and people have them reason for why they want a gun. America is a place where as long as you don't have the record and you have your thing, you can buy your gun. See? But that don't mean you can just go out and shoot people. And people know that. So people have them things. So I just hope that some people have some plan where they're right. Because I hear say some man must acclaim saying want to kill Joe Biden or something like so. That must sound right. Or a madman that. You understand? So you see what I go on. People want to know what you're showing in the purge too, you know. Yeah, because I show that. Well, I don't know it about vibes, brethren, because enough of me say I go on. I don't know if I this up where I go or this America go reach. But if I this it go boy, people don't look good. So I'm gonna check out that show there. But they have some video here, but I want to check out. See, so do remember to like, subscribe, and share to the channel. Yeah, and give away the subscription because I know we need it to get everything up there so we can do more of these things and go now update and what go on. You understand, people? So I'm gonna just pray the video and know say
Joe Biden is not just ahead, he appears comfortably ahead, a fact confirmed by polls in the race for campaign cash. Yet few Democrats or analysts appear willing to make definitive predictions about the race just 11 days out after the ones many made 4 years ago. Our next guest is the exception, CNN's Fareed Zakaria. The headline of his new piece in the Washington Post, "I was wrong that Trump would lose in 2016. I'm doubling down in 2020. He writes, quote, "I will take my chances and once again predict that Trump will lose this election. Humbled as I am after these 4 years, I would still rather bet on and believe in the best in America." Joining me now is Fareed Zakaria, host of Fareed Zakaria GPS here on CNN. He's written the new book, 10 Lessons for a Post-Pandemic World. So, Fareed, why do you think that the president is going to lose this election? If you look at polls in, key battleground states, Hillary Clinton actually is about where Joe Biden is now in many of those states, or was at this time in the race.
Look, Anderson, you can argue it many different ways, right? There's no question it's a tight race. We're a divided country. I guess I prefer to imagine an alternative narrative, which is borne out by a lot of data. Donald Trump has never been popular. He has always had a majority of the country against him, disapproving of him. He has the lowest approval rating of any president in recorded history. In 2016, he happened to run against the second most unpopular candidate in modern presidential history. And in 3 states with 70,000 votes, he was able to pull off an electoral college victory. I'm betting that doesn't happen again. Obviously, I don't know. But a part of it is, as an immigrant, as somebody who came to this country and felt like it was magical and was welcomed, to hear Trump and his, what is frankly just naked racism and racial appeals, I want to believe that's not America. I want to believe, and I want to bet on the America I know. And I'm going to do it, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm willing to put myself out on the line.
If the president does win a second term, what do you think that means for the United States, home and abroad?
Well, I talk a lot about this in my new book, which is, the part of the problem has become this is very different from any experience America has had in the past, because this is not about what America does, it's about who we are. In the past, people have criticized American foreign policy, the Iraq War, the Vietnam War, but that was about what America did. What Trump has represented for a lot of the world, for most of the world, is the idea that America is not what they had imagined it to be. This shining beacon of democracy, of pluralism, of diversity. At some fundamental level, what everybody admires about America around the world is we're somehow able to bring all these people from all over the world together and make this first universal nation. Well, Trump stands in fundamental opposition to that. He begins his political career with birtherism. He begins his campaign calling Mexicans rapists. He announces during the campaign the Muslim ban, to you, as I remember, Anderson. That is something so different and so alien from the America that everybody around the world admires. So I think it would be probably an irreparable loss.
I spoke to Tom Friedman of the Times a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, he was really concerned about the potential of civil conflict in the United States. He believes our democracy is in terrible danger, more danger than it's been in since the Civil War, more danger than after Pearl Harbor, a Cuban Missile Crisis. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that one of the dangers of Donald Trump is that he seems to recognize no limits, right? He's willing to do things that nobody else has ever done. And so it's really that fear that, like, if you face this danger, what happens? What happens if the president of the United States simply, challenges 20 different state elections? What happens if he asks the army to do things? I'm fundamentally more optimistic than Tom Friedman is. And one of the points I try to make in my book is, look, at the end of the day, the United States is always a mixed, messy country, but it has incredible dynamism and it has this incredible value that it places on diversity. As I say, I'm going to bet on the America I know, not on the darker side of America.
I want to talk about your book, because despite the president saying that we're rounding the corner, it's nowhere near over. Cases are obviously rising in the U.S. and Europe. In your new book, you write, this ugly pandemic has opened up a path to a new world. What do you mean by that?
So there's no question that you're right. This is the biggest pandemic in a century. This is the most consequential event in our lifetimes, Anderson. It has affected every single human being on the planet in a way that 9/11 didn't, in a way that the global financial crisis didn't. But in doing that, it's dislocated everything. So as a result, change is possible. Think about how much we've all changed in our lives, right? We've agreed to isolate ourselves. We've agreed to spend hours, having deeply personal conversations with our laptops. We have been willing to change. If politicians lead us and tell us in this moment of enormous change, here's the way forward, I think we would get to a better place. But we need leaders who are willing to embrace that positive change.
Fareed, I appreciate it.